then along I go to Gdansk Old Town, and this is what Gdansk Old Town looks like. It's all very old looking. There's lots and lots of tourists about, because this is the area all of the tourists go to. There's lots of people giving guided tours to the tourists, and it's a very nice old town. It's all very old fashioned looking, a very typical old town. And along I go to Gdansk Market, and this is what a market looks like, and it has a glass hydraulic lift. And the market also has a Schindler Eurolift.
Restart.
So then, let's carry on taking a look around Gdansk Old Town. It's all very nice here, it's all very, very old looking. This is precisely the area my mum would want to visit, and although it all looks very nice, it isn't really the area I want to visit, because I have very little time, and the reason why I came to Gdansk wasn't to see the old town, but to see the old Soviet stuff they have here. And several people have pointed out that Poland wasn't actually part of the USSR. A reason why I refer to a lot of the old stuff as Soviet is because Poland were under the control of the USSR, even though they weren't actually part of it. And also, a lot of the old trains and lifts actually have a real sort of Soviet feel to it, but only now after I uploaded part 1 did I now realise that a lot of Polish people, it's a matter of pride that their stuff is Polish and not Soviet, so I do apologise if I offended anyone. So then, let's leave Old Town and go along to the really awesome tower block areas there is in Gdansk. So let's get on a tram along to these tower block areas, and there's tower blocks everywhere. These tower blocks look absolutely epic. There's so many of them, and I have so little time here. I was only stayed here for one night. Right, I don't have time to see all of them because there's millions of these tower blocks, but let's get a good selection of the different types. Now, if you take a look at these tower blocks, as Poland was under the influence of the USSR, on the outside they look fairly Soviet, but they don't have the full Soviet mismatched look. There's a lot of Soviet towers actually in the USSR had a really sort of epic look where it's completely not symmetrical, where every single window and every single flat is different, where the windows have sort of been changed or replaced over different years, and they don't keep the style across the tower all looking the same. They sort of bodge in a different style of window, making a tower look really, really odd looking, which is why Soviet towers are so epic. Now, these towers all look very clean and symmetrical on the outside, so they don't go that far, but on the inside they do have a Soviet style inside, although the staircases are the steepness of staircases that you'd get in the European area, when the full Soviet towers have a sort of more gentle sort of staircase, which is typical for the USSR. These Polish towers, the staircase is steeper. So into the first tower and along to the lift. The lift is an old, which has sadly been horribly modernised, but luckily it still doesn't have inner doors. Yes!
Piętro 10.
So then, up at the top floor of this lift, and one thing on the interior of this tower block which does feel very Soviet is the fact that each floor has a slightly different layout. Some floors like a big glass wall with doors in before you get to the flats. Other floors have a glass wall but with an unlocked door to get from the stairs to the lift. It does feel a bit Soviet, as that does feel a bit mismatched. On the top floor, you can actually walk along between the different sections of this tower block. On the top floor, there's also a flat which I believe is the caretaker's flat. Sadly, all of the doors onto the roof of this tower were locked. So now I go down the stairs to a different lift in this tower block, which is another old lift that's been horribly modernised.
Untitled Chapter.
And one thing that's very disappointing about all of the towers in Gdansk is all of the old light fixtures have been replaced. Have all been replaced with these horrible, nasty plastic light fixtures. Ugh. So let's go down to the basement where the light fixtures are still original, which is very nice. And the basement looks really old and epic. So now we go along to the next tower block, and these tower blocks are pretty tall looking. They all look very, very nice, and this next tower block I'm going to has been modernised, but it does look very, very nice. If you go inside this tower, it actually now has a concierge, and the concierge was asleep, so I walked past the concierge along to the lifts, and the lifts have been replaced with Schindlers. Now you'd think for a tower this tall, it'd be Schindler 5500s, but no, they're actually 3300s. Fucking hell, a little 3300 tin can lift going up this tall tower. Oh.
Piętro 17.
Let's get on top it. So then, now I go along to the next shopping centre, which is Alpha Centrium. This shopping centre is pretty nice. It's not the most interesting, but that is quite nice. This has some German ThyssenKrupp lifts. And now go to the next shopping centre, which is Galleria Prisimor. And this shopping centre, yeah, it's pretty nice. The lift is an eco-disc. So I'll now get on a tram to look for more old Polish towers, and I'll now go to the next tower blocks. And I had to see these ones because these ones are a classic design. These are what I call snaking blocks, because when you look at them from Google Maps, they look like a snake. They're really, really long. The length of one individual block goes on for such a long way. They are so epic looking. So let's go inside one of these snaking blocks, and the lift has sadly been replaced with an Otis. So here I am up at the top floor. Now this block is actually a Streets in the Sky block. Sadly it's a locked door to get to the actual Streets in the Sky section, but if I could get through this locked door, you could actually walk along the entire length of the block, a classic Streets in the Sky. So then, now go back down to the ground floor. And to take a look at this door, which is an old lift door. This lift door is actually not a lift. This is the door that used to be on the lift, but after the lift was replaced, they then repurposed this door as the basement door. So when we go through this door, it leads down to the basement. And this basement looks really old and spooky and epic. Look at this epic looking basement. Oh yeah, this is the sort of basement I wanted to see. This is what you call a proper basement. So then, along I go to some more Polish towers, and along to the next tower. This tower has a lift that's been modernised, but still doesn't have inner doors. Yes! In this tower block, they're cheapened out on the lift, as there's only one lift, and this lift only serves the turns in the stairwell. It stops every other floor. So when you get out of the lift, you either have to walk down half a floor, or walk up half a floor to get to the main floor where the flats are. So this block was built very cheap. And now along to an old-fashioned Polish hospital. This hospital is very similar to hospitals I've seen in Lithuania and Romania. It's so old-fashioned looking. But sadly, the lifts have been replaced with Otis's. And now we go along to a hotel, which has some eco discs. And now I go along to a random train station. And let's take a look at a train station eco disc. Then now I go along to Sopot, which is the beach city near Gdansk. Firstly, we go to the shopping centre at the train station, which has some Otis Gen 2s. Safety brake. Why are Gen 2s a million times better when they're glass? It's like the old engineers have to physically see the lift to fine tune them. If they can't physically see the lift, they don't know what they're doing. That shows you old engineers are not the best. So wait. That's longer delay than normal. And let's take a look around Sopot. This place is really, really nice. People in England just don't think of Poland as somewhere to go on like a seaside holiday. But the beach here looks just as good as any other beach in any other place in the world. It's just so nice. And everything is so cheap in Poland. Food costs about 60% of the price that you'd pay in England. Everything is so cheap. The transport is cheap. And everything that shops sell is cheap. Well, as long as it's Polish, like Polish clothes and Polish products are cheap. If you buy an international product like a branded clothes or like technology, that's no cheaper. But if you buy Polish stuff, it's a lot cheaper than stuff back at home. And along we go into a pavilion building at Sopot and along to the lift. This lift has a fake Otis indicator. This is the typical generic indicator you see quite a lot of times in England. I think this indicator is such a rip-off of Otis. And in Poland, quite often the floors of a building have a plus because the basements are minus. So floors above the basement are plus, which seems a bit odd. And the letter A is written the wrong way round. So when it says plus A on the indicator, it looks so odd. And now go along to Gdansk, which is one of the 3 cities you get on your Gdansk ticket. And Gdansk is really, really nice. And there's loads of epic trolley buses. Then almost time for me to go home, so let's just enjoy some nighttime views of some trains. So then back I go to the airport and along to the train station lift at the airport, which is a generic lift, but it's really quick. I mean, in England, this lift would be a shit standard, going 0.6 metres a second. Other places in the world, it'd be a 1 metre a second lift. But here, 1.6 metres a second, just go from a platform to the concourse. That is really quick, and this lift has a levelling speed, so it's not intelligent levelling, but the levelling speed's really quick. So then into the airport. And one really nice thing about this airport is it has a McDonald's, which is something you rarely see in airports, because airports always overcharge for everything. But that seems not to be the case in Poland, because McDonald's have a policy of never charging more for their food in different locations, because Burger King, you'll pay more in premium locations than like a cheap location. But McDonald's will always charge the same amount, which is one good thing about McDonald's. And the fact this McDonald's is in an airport means the airport isn't overcharging the shops to be in the airport, which is nice. So that's the end of the video. Make sure you check the links in the description to see all of the different videos I've done of the different transport in Gdansk.